the small village of Paramai in South India, Father Joseph of St. Mary's Church invited the children of Paramai to a daily Christmas story at 6 p.m. All the children of the village were eager to hear about his stories about how the traditional December festivities were celebrated all over the world. On this fifth evening of December, Father Joseph started with his story. Taking a deep breath, today, we will travel to the country of the Netherlands or Holland, which is a country in Europe full of beautiful traditions. The people of Holland are known as Dutch people. And the Dutch people celebrate their main Christmas on December 5th. It is known as the Eve of Sinterklaas or Sinterklaasavond. On this evening, the families gather, children receive presents, and songs are sung. Then, after the celebrations are over, and before the children go to bed, they leave the shoes or stockings by the fireplace filled with carrots and hay for the horse of Sinterklaas. Next morning on December 6th, they find their shoes filled with a lot of treats and sweets. This December 6th custom is also practiced in many countries of Europe, like in Germany and Austria. Father Joseph continued, "Now we will return to our story about Sinterklaas. A long time ago, in a land far away, there lived a kind and generous man named Sinterklaas. He loved giving gifts and making children happy. Every year, as the winter holidays approached, he would set off on an exciting adventure to visit children in the Netherlands, which is commonly referred to as Holland. Sinterklaas was a 4th century bishop of Myra, which is now in Turkey, and who is historically known to have been a very generous and children-loving bishop. But how did he travel to Holland? Well, Sinterklaas lived in a sunny place called Spain. To make his trip even more special, he decided to travel by a grand, magical ship that sailed across the seas. Imagine a beautiful ship decorated with twinkling lights and festive flags, gliding through the water, guided by the stars. You might wonder why he comes from Spain. Many years ago, people in the Netherlands traded a lot with Spain, and they loved the Spanish culture. So, it made sense for the kind and wise Sinterklaas to live in such a wonderful place. Every year, as Sinterklaas's ship approached the shores of the Netherlands, children would get very excited. They knew that soon, Sinterklaas and his merry and mischievous helpers, the Pieten, would arrive at their homes to bring joy and presents. As the ship docked, Sinterklaas would ride his trusty white horse, Amerigo, and the Pieten would dance and play, spreading happiness wherever they went. This magical journey from Spain made Sinterklaas's visit even more special, and children eagerly awaited his arrival by mid-November of every year. In the early evening of December 5th, as the moon cast a silver glow over the snowy rooftops, Marie and her sister Julia could hardly contain their excitement. They had placed their shoes by the fireplace, filled with hay and carrots for Amerigo, and now they whispered stories of Sinterklaas's magical journey from Spain. "Sinterklaas is on his way right now," Julia whispered, his eyes wide with wonder. "I wonder what gifts he'll bring us this year." Suddenly, they heard a faint jingling sound from outside. The children raced to the window and peeked out into the frosty night. To their astonishment, they saw a magnificent sight. A grand ship, illuminated by lanterns, sailing through the sky. It was Sinterklaas's ship, and it floated gracefully above the clouds, guided by the twinkling stars. As the ship descended, the Pieten, with their acrobatic skills, leaped off and landed gracefully on the rooftops. They tiptoed across the tiles, and tied the ship's ropes to the chimney, so it would not float away. Marie and Julia held their breath, their hearts pounding with excitement. "Do you think they'll come to our house?" Marie asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Just then, there was a soft knock at the door. The children's parents, who had been watching with smiles on their faces, opened the door to reveal the most magical sight of all, Sinterklaas himself, standing tall and regal, his eyes twinkling with kindness. "Good evening, kinderen." Sinterklaas greeted them warmly. His voice was as comforting as a winter's fire. "Have you been good this year?" Julia and Marie nodded their heads with a big smile. "Well, then I have a special surprise for you. Put on your warm winter clothes, and then join me at my sleigh." A few minutes later, the children were back outside. A large snow-covered sleigh waited for them outside the doorsteps. It was pulled by a team of 4 strong husky dogs. Sinterklaas and the Pieten invited Marie, Julia, and a few other lucky children to climb aboard. As the sleigh glided over the snowy hills and through the starry night, the children sang joyful songs. They marveled at the magical sights below, the twinkling lights of the villages, the quiet forests, and the frozen lakes reflecting the moonlight. Just as they thought the night couldn't get any more magical, the sleigh landed in a field outside a remote village. For the last 100 meters, the sleigh was pulled through the snow, until they reached a bustling Christmas market. The air was filled with the sweet aroma of warm gingerbread and mulled wine. Stalls were adorned with twinkling lights and festive decorations, offering an array of gifts, ornaments, and delicious treats. The children's eyes sparkled as they explored, their laughter mingling with the joyful sounds of carolers singing. Sinterklaas led Marie, Julia, and the other children to a stall where an elderly woman was handing out freshly baked poffertjes. These small, fluffy pancakes were served with powdered sugar and butter, making for a delightful treat. "These are for you, dear children," she said with a warm smile. "They are a special treat for those who have been good." Marie and Julia eagerly accepted the poffertjes, savoring their sweet and fluffy texture. They continued to wander through the market, marveling at the beautifully crafted Kerstkrans cakes and the intricately designed Christmas ornaments. The market was a feast for the senses, with the sights, sounds, and smells of Christmas creating an atmosphere of pure magic. At the next stall, they encountered a vendor selling stroopwafels, thin waffle-like cookies with a delicious caramel syrup filling. The vendor handed each child a freshly made stroopwafel, and the warm, gooey syrup was an instant hit. As they moved further, they saw stands offering a variety of Dutch delicacies. There were bitterballen, deep-fried balls filled with a rich, creamy ragu of meat, and kroketten, larger versions of the same savory treat. They sampled speculaas, spiced cookies that are a staple during the Sinterklaas season, made with cinnamon, nutmeg, and cloves. "Look, Julia." Soap, Marie pointed to a large pot of the hearty split pea soup, thick with pork and vegetables, perfect for a cold evening. They both enjoyed a warm bowl, feeling the delicious warmth spread through their bodies. Next, they found pannenkoeken, larger and thinner than American pancakes, offered with a variety of toppings. Marie chose one with syrup and powdered sugar, while Julia opted for a savory version with cheese and bacon. The aroma of Bishcp, A spiced breakfast cake often served with butter, wafted through the air. The children each took a slice, relishing the rich, spiced flavor. At another stall, they found Bishcp bowl, a large profiterole filled with whipped cream and coated in a layer of chocolate. These were a delightful treat, their faces smeared with chocolate, as they devoured the sweet pastries. They also saw a vendor offering vla, a traditional Dutch custard dessert, in various flavors like vanilla and chocolate. Marie chose a small cup of vanilla vla, enjoying its creamy texture. The market also featured vendors selling various cheeses, including the famous Gouda cheese, known for its rich, creamy texture and slightly sweet flavor. They sampled slices of young and aged Gouda, savoring the different tastes. At a nearby stand, the children found rookworst, a smoked sausage often served with stamp pot. The savory, flavorful sausage was a perfect match for the hearty vegetable mash. As they continued their exploration, they found a vendor selling kaas, a wide array of Dutch cheeses, including Edam and Leiden. Each cheese had its unique flavor, and they enjoyed tasting the different varieties. The bustling market was not just about food. There were stalls selling beautiful handmade ornaments, knitted items like warm hats and scarves, candles in festive shapes, hand-painted pottery, traditional wooden toys, jewelry, and leather goods. Marie and Julia picked out a few items to take home as souvenirs, adding to the magic of their evening. Sleigh journeyed back to the village. Sinterklaas explained the tradition of midwinter horn blowing, a custom in the rural areas of the Netherlands, especially in the east. During this time, people would blow horns to mark the end of the old year and the beginning of the new one, a way to ward off evil spirits and bring good luck for the coming year. After that long excursion late in the night, they were so tired that they fell asleep right away. But before they went to bed they left hay and carrots for Amerigo, the horse of Sinterklaas, by the fireplace. Sometime during the night, one of the Zwart Pieten came to visit the house with all the gifts from Sinterklaas. His name was Jasper, and he was really thin. That was a great benefit, as he always slipped in through the chimney to deliver all of Sinterklaas presents. And while sliding down the chimney, he would become black from the soot on the chimney walls. The Pieten were the merry and mischievous helpers of Sinterklaas in Dutch tradition. They are typically portrayed wearing bright, traditional Dutch costumes, with large, feathered hats and sometimes wigs. The Pieten were known for their playful nature, and their ability to squeeze through the smallest of chimneys to secretly enter into the homes of the children, to whom they distributed sweets. They left the sweets in Dutch clogs, which were wooden shoes that are very popular in Holland. Their origins can be traced back to folklore and European traditions. But Jasper, the Pieten, was not known for very good behavior. Jasper had a knack for causing trouble, albeit in a playful way. He slipped into the house of Marie and Julia through the chimney, and instead of simply leaving treats in their wooden clogs, Jasper decided to hide them in the most unexpected places. He tucked chocolate letters under pillows of Marie, hung marzipan figures from the Christmas tree, and even placed a small toy inside one of Julia's socks. The next morning, Marie and Julia were puzzled. Their shoes were empty. They searched high and low, their excitement turning to a mix of confusion and curiosity. It wasn't long before they started finding the hidden treats, each discovery bringing laughter and joy. "Mama, look! There's chocolate in my pillowcase." Marie giggled. "And I found a toy in my sock," Julia exclaimed. The mother smiled knowingly and then told them, "Let's have breakfast now. We will taste a very special Dutch tradition, being the Kerstol," she explained. This was a special Christmas bread, or cake made from yeast dough, and filled with dried fruits. It was rich and flavorful, often served for breakfast on Christmas morning. Its sweet, fruity taste was a perfect way to start the festive day. Oma Marieke asked the girls whether they knew about the real Sinterklaas. Julia and Marie glanced at each other, but did not know. "Well, let me tell you briefly about how the story of Sinterklaas started. Once upon a time, in a small village by the sea, lived a kind and generous man named Nicholas. He was known for his gentle heart and his love for helping others. Nicholas loved children and often gave them gifts secretly, leaving them by their doors or windows. One cold winter's night, Nicholas heard about a poor family in the village. The father was worried because he could not afford to buy gifts, or even food for his 3 daughters. Moved by their plight, Nicholas decided to help. Nicholas waited until it was very dark. He quietly crept up to the family's house and peeked through the window. He saw the father and his daughters huddled together, trying to stay warm by the fire. Nicholas had an idea. He took 3 small bags filled with gold coins and gently tossed them through the window. The coins landed inside the daughters' shoes, which they had left by the fireplace to dry. The next morning, the family awoke to find the gold coins. They were overjoyed and thankful for this unexpected gift. News of Nicholas' kindness spread throughout the village, and soon, everyone began to look forward to the night when he would secretly leave gifts for those in need. The real Nicholas was born in 270 after Christ in Myra, which is in Turkey. Thanks to his inheritance, he had a lot of money, but he spent the money on the poor and needy. As the years went by, Nicholas continued his acts of kindness. He became known as Saint Nicholas, or Sinterklaas in Dutch. His legend grew, and every year on December 5th, children would leave their shoes by the fireplace, hoping to find treats and small gifts left by Sinterklaas and his mischievous helpers, the Pieten. And so, the tradition of Sinterklaas began in Holland, bringing joy and magic to children each year, reminding them of the power of kindness and generosity. Father Joseph now concluded the storytelling on the eve of December 5th in Poromai, wishing the girls of Poromai a wonderful good night and sweet dreams. The legacy of Saint Nicholas continued to inspire acts of kindness and generosity, ensuring that this spirit lived on in the hearts of members of all faiths, and now also in the hearts of the traditional village girls of Poromai in South India.